evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the Public Education Forum. This is co-hosted by the Lynn Teachers Union and the Lynn Education Justice Alliance with our partners. I'd like to welcome you all here tonight. I am Sheila O'Neill. I'm the president of the Lynn Teachers Union, and I would like to welcome our collaborative partners, the Lynn Education Justice Alliance, the North Shore Labor Council, New Lynn Coalition, the Massachusetts Education Justice Alliance, and Neighbor to Neighbor. Tonight is an opportunity for us to hear and learn more about the candidates running for school committee. Each candidate was given the opportunity to submit a one-page statement about their vision for the Lynn schools, students, and educators. The school committee candidates will have 2 minutes to respond to each question and give a closing statement. I'd like to introduce the candidates this evening. Stacy Bryan Brown. Brian Castellanos. Eric Dugan. Lorraine Gately. And I'm going to apologize in case I crucify your name. Valkyria Legusamo. Kendra Lopez. Tiffany Magnolia. Lennon Pena. Sean Reed. Daniel Richard. And Andrea Satellites. Judith Wilson sent me an email and then called me earlier today. She's unable to be here. She is extremely ill and she sends her apologies. She will be responding to the questions in writing and sending it to the union, and I will share it. So thank you. Our moderator for this evening is Phil O'Connor, a 6th grade science teacher here at Breed and the 2nd vice president of the Lynn Teachers Union. He is also a North Shore Labor Council delegate and executive board member and a delegate for the AFT convention and the AFT Mass convention. Phil.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming tonight. We know that it's been probably a longer week than we would like, but we're looking forward to finishing off strong with this great forum. We have 11 candidates here. Each candidate will be permitted to speak for 2 minutes per question with 2 minutes at the end for closing remarks. This process is done as a community effort with our allies in the city for education justice. In addition, the Lynn Teachers Union will be undergoing endorsements for our candidates here at our next membership meeting in about 2 weeks. So we want to make sure that we're all taking great notes and we're all have our pencils sharpened for this great forum tonight. Lisa, you are a timekeeper tonight? So Lisa will be holding up signs to our candidates to show how much time we have left. She has a sign for, I believe, 1 minute, 30 seconds, and stop, at which point I will very politely ask you to complete your remarks so we can move on to the next person. Candidates, are we ready? All right, so we're just going to go in alphabetical order. Our first question. Poor teacher retention has been shown to negatively impact students' educational achievement, whether in the classroom, on the field, or in their community. Unfortunately, Lynn Public Schools is no exception, as hundreds of educators left the district for another position or teaching altogether. As a result, Lynn Public Schools scrambled this summer to fill vacant positions, often with educators with little to no experience, further impeding our students from meeting their academic potential. While the reasons for poor educator retention are numerous, little solutions have been provided at the district level. If elected to the school committee, what specific policies and/or positions will you support to retain Lynn educators? We ask that you please answer these with specific initiatives rather than broad themes, i.e. listen to the educators, respect for the profession, promote level learning, etc. We will start with candidate Stacy Brown Bryan.
Good evening, everyone. My response would be, I would I would have a policy where we could all, well, actually, if I was elected, I would have some support system in place for the educators, for the staff as well, for each person to get through what we are going through with the poor teacher retention. And I just feel that support is very important. Support groups, collaboratives, also advocating for teachers, staff, and promote, most important, love. I also would encourage each and every one of them that this is not going to be like this always. I would also seek out any and all collaboratives that I can to assist teachers and students as well.
Thank you, Candidate Brown. Candidate Castellanos.
Hello, welcome. Thank you all. Thank you to the Lynn Teachers Union for hosting us tonight. So for the first question, I did have a response in my, I think the public forum packet around investing in a retention advisory committee. I like to see a 5-year capital recruitment plan that's going to strategically aim at not just the outside issues of retention, but the root issues. And I think it's important to compensate and create support initiatives that are going to aim at burnout reduction practices, right? So we also were just informed that DESE now is going to hold us accountable. The reality is that we're going to be suffering. We're going to be seeing a lot more teachers wanting to get out of the trades, and we need to focus on figuring out how to allocate funds and resources to find our talent, to retain our talent, to support the talent that's here. It's crucial that we really aim to prioritize this, not only in HR, but as an organizational district-wide initiative that really is hitting it hard on the campaign in HR. Whether it's the partnerships we have with Salem State, North Shore Community College, we need to ensure that we're building up pipelines of staff and making sure that we retain the students who are in high school and even younger, middle school. The root of why you want to be an educator, because I still believe in this country, being an educator is one of the best career paths in the world.
Time is right in the front with Lisa Colvin-White. Lisa, do you mind holding up the signs for our candidates again? Thank you.
All right. Well,
Candidate
what? I'm used to it. Well, welcome everybody, and thank you to the Lynn Teachers Union for hosting tonight. I think that question is critical. High turnover rates in our schools is a huge problem in all schools. We lose the voice of our veteran teachers, and those veteran teachers know what's right for the district. So it's critical we hold on to them. So kind of an approach I'm thinking is like a 5-prong approach. First thing would be mentorship. We need to make sure that our veteran teachers are welcoming our younger teachers into the fold, and that they're showing them the ropes, and that they're teaching them about the district, and showing them that, you know, these are the things that, this is how Lynn Public Schools does things. So that would be the first part. Second part, compensation. That's something we did work on our last contract, but there's more work to do there. Our teachers are underpaid. If you look across the North Shore, I think Salem's at, an average of $94,000, and Lynn's still, I want to say low $80,000 in terms of the average salaries. So compensation we need to look at. Conditions, working conditions and working climates. Very important, obviously, with the state of our schools. That's a really important one. The working conditions for our teachers really needs to be improved. The climate for our teachers really needs to be improved. They need to trust that the administrators are making the right choices for them. They need to trust that this body is making the right choices for them. I hope they do that, but being a teacher myself, I know that's not always something that happens. So they need to, our climate does need to be looked at and improved. I think it needs to be improved. Growth opportunities is another part. Our teachers need to see that their colleagues are moving up the ranks, and they're having an opportunity, if they want to pursue the admin field, if they want to, get up into that team, that they have the ability to do that. And right now, I don't know if we're doing the best job at that, so that's another thing. And then finally, autonomy for our veteran teachers. We need to leave our veteran teachers alone. Let them do their job, let them teach. They know what's best for their students, and let's not get overly involved in what they're doing. So that's sort of my 5-prong approach. Thank you.
Folks, in the interest of time, if we hold applause to the end of all the questions, that'd be great. We have 3 to go and 11 candidates. Thank you. Candidate Gately.
Okay, first of all, I have and will continue to listen to the teachers' grievances on a regular basis to things like too many new initiatives, not enough training for those new initiatives to be implemented into our schools. I'm working on that and will continue to work on that. More professional development for them, more time for professional development for our teachers to be successful in the classroom, better pay, increase their pay if necessary. What happened and why all our teachers left after hearing the many phone calls was so many things were going wrong at the same time in our district. And right now what we have to do is come together and provide a positive climate and a positive culture for everyone. We do need a pipeline. We started North Shore Community College Frederick Douglass programs so that students that graduate from Frederick Douglass will have a high school diploma along with college credit. That would hopefully, we should mentor those students, let them think about going into the field of education. Let me see. Overcrowded classrooms is another issue that I'm working on as building and grounds. I'm trying to get new buildings, trying to find a way to lower the classroom sizes. Thank you.
Once again, please hold your applause to the end. Thank you. Candidate Lagusima.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My answer to this question comes from the journey through this campaign that I've had the great experience of sitting down with some great teachers, listen to their concerns, and based on that, I would advocate on behalf of teachers and students, because I believe that if we support teachers, we will be helping students, for a waterfall schedule for teachers. One of the main concerns that they have seems to be the schedule. A waterfall schedule will allow teachers to have more time to plan and collaborate with each other. This can be especially helpful in our overcrowded classroom, where teachers often have to juggle multiple tasks at once. Another thing that highlighted through this time that I was able to talk to them was that technology, being able to utilize technology in a way that will allow them to utilize the little bit of time that they have, because the classrooms are overcrowded and our students do need more time and our teachers do need the time to provide this education that is so essential. So I will advocate with all my heart for teachers to be supported, and I strongly believe that if we support the teachers that we do have, we can inspire other great teachers to also come and join us. Thank you.
Candidate Lopez.
Hi everyone, I'm Sandra Lopez, and I am very concerning about the teacher and the student. And I know that, like Walkiria said, and Gailey said too, that we faces many problems like staffing, contract, population, and support and space, and then all those problems we need to be addressed alone, and then we need to make sure that we are working to retain the teacher and supporting, because after you support the professors, it reflects in their student. And then along with that, I believe that when we have a good scenario and good project and good benefit for the teacher, we're going to have a better environment, and then they don't going to have chance to leave to another city to look for better payment and for better plans. So I'm going to be working to make sure that I show and implement a plan that I have to have a part of solution of that problem. And then I would like to work to have people who has a lot of money, the richest people, be involved to see the way that can help that we can have that money to retain our professor in the city. Along with that, I would like to say too that I'm very promote to retain the teacher over here in the city, because it's pretty sad the situation that we are faces in the school right now. And it's really sad to me seeing that a good professor move to another city looking for better benefit while we could do something to retain them.
Thank you,
here.
Candidate Lopez. Candidate Magnolia.
Hold on, I can lean. Do you want me to lean? I'll lean over. Oh, wait, we got it. Okay, thank you. Can I start now? Yeah, okay. So, hi everyone. I'm ready to launch into this. 3 specific things. The first is, in the last contract, we did have something specifically for the career ladders for paras. I think we need to make sure that in every contract negotiation, we specifically look at how career ladders are worked into it for every step of folks within the district. So if that's for paras, incentives, if they want to get more education to move up and stay in the district, if that's for teachers who want to go through administration, I think it's a part of the benefits that go through contract negotiations that are often overlooked, but they can make or break the difference between someone staying in the district and someone not. The second thing is we have to look at why we are assigning the least experienced teachers to the highest needs classrooms. That is a sure recipe for disaster. I can tell you that last year my daughter had a teacher who was in her 2nd year, and she was the only teacher that was for the entire year. So she was carrying the entire 5th grade with only being a 2nd year teacher. And the lack of support, because she was in an elementary school, meant that she was somewhat isolated. Obviously, there's different issues at the high school, middle school, and elementary school, but we have to look at how we are supporting those folks who have the least amount of experience. The final thing is to look at how we are incentivizing mentoring. It's one thing to say, oh, new teachers need mentors, but how are we compensating veteran teachers who take on the role of mentoring? Is it with more time? Because let me tell you, you can be paid as much as you want, but if you don't have time, you don't have time. And realizing what it takes to do this job means going into emphasizing these things in ways that make sense to folks on the ground for what they really need to do their jobs most effectively. And the final thing I just want to say is, we all suffered a collective trauma. We have to acknowledge that. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Magnolia. Candidate Pena.
Good evening, everyone. First and foremost, thank you everyone for coming out. Thank you to the Lynn Teachers Union for holding this forum. If elected, the question was, what would I do to support and retain educators? Well, I was honored to be part of the negotiation committee which We produce a pretty fair, very fair contract, but we could do better. And I'm hoping to be elected and be on that committee again because we need to pay our educators. It's very important. Also, I think we need to support our pipelines, our student pipelines. We need to continue to work with our local colleges, North Shore Community College, Salem State College, to get our students who want to become educators and create a pipeline to get educators. Recruiting is a must. We need to go out and get our talent. We need to be aggressive about recruiting our talent. You know, also, we need to work. If elected, I promise to continue to try to work with state legislation to have bigger buildings. We need better schools. Our schools are, you know, it's uncomfortable. And we also have to create an atmosphere where we can have some professional development, where we would have veteran teachers try to help and you know, help and train, you know, our new staff. You know, we need to create a good culture because you know, when you're in an environment you don't want to be there and it's stressful, there's no, you know, we want to make our educators comfortable. You know, it's very important, it's vital for our students.
Thank you, Candidate Pena. Candidate Reed.
Thank you. Thank you, LTU, for this opportunity, and thank you, everyone, for being here this evening. A lot of people already mentioned pay, of course, is top of mind for everyone, especially in a district like Lynn that has unique challenges. We've got to recognize those challenges during negotiations. The second one is obviously, I think people mentioned this, overcrowding. It looks like we're going to talk about that later, a little bit more in detail. Learning loss, I think, is something that isn't discussed enough, obviously amongst our circles, but in the mainstream. I mean, I talked to my wife as a teacher, and she said a lot of her teachers at her school are basically teaching 2 grades, in the sense that they're not just teaching 3rd grade at their level. They have to make up for everything that's still lost. So we got to make sure we're finding out-of-class supports for learning loss. That is a huge, huge deal. Like Dr. Magnolia said, that was traumatic, and kids are still feeling the effects. Let's not forget. The other thing is communication. I've heard that a lot of staff reach out to some of the admin, and they'll say they get back to them, never get back to them. So I wanted to give you a little insight into something we should all think about if elected when we're making any decision or any policy. I was talking to a teacher the other day, and I said, is there a common theme that all your issues boil down to? And they said time. And that was very powerful to me. I guess I just never thought about it in such simplistic terms, but it makes so much sense. Because whenever we're making a decision, there's a finite amount of time in the day. What is giving when they have to take on something new? Something is being given up, right? Is it that they are using more of their own personal time? Or if they can't pay as much attention to different programs? Something is happening there. So we need to, like I said, is there a way when we make a decision, like a lot of times too, we make a new initiative, and then when the teachers master the initiative, they either put a new initiative on or replace the initiative, wasting all the time. So time is a huge thing, and we need to make sure that whenever we make the decision that we're either looking at, is there a way to offload some other activities to different levels that aren't classroom, or is it even worth the opportunity cost of what they're giving up to you know, initiate this new initiative? Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Reed. Candidate Richard.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the Lynn Teachers Union for hosting this. So first, is contract is obviously making sure that our teachers are taken care of when it comes to pay. We continue to push for that. Another is appreciating our teachers, appreciating what they do for our kids. A lot of these teachers are teaching, you know, classrooms 30 plus kids. That's not easy to do. Next is our environment, make an environment very conducive to what we want it to be. Incentivizing teachers, that's going to be a huge one. Supporting our younger teachers with mentorship and having some of our veteran teachers mentor some of our younger teachers that are coming through the system. Offer professional development. That's another big key that I've heard and I would like to see come into Lynn Public Schools is making sure that our teachers are keeping up to date with what's going on in different school systems and bringing in new ideas. I think another one that would help is relieving the stress of standardized testing. I think that's going to be another huge one, relieving that stress and making sure that that is out of our school systems and making sure that our teachers have time to focus on their curriculum, focus on the kids, focus on what matters in the classroom. I think is going to be another huge one. And bringing in more teachers to aid and help these teachers out. Because right now we have a shortage of teachers. But also I'd like to offer a support system. You know, that might be a position or maybe a subcommittee to offer, if we could, in the budget to our teachers. You know, as teacher burnout is a huge thing. They need support. We need resources. Allocating money in the budget towards resources like books, classrooms, desks, all those are going to be very important to help make sure that our teachers are being effective in the classrooms. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate Richard. Candidate Sadoway.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight and the opportunity for me to be here. I think we can all agree that support is a really big one, including communication, and that largely impacts all of the teachers. I also think pipelining is a really good one. Definitely making sure that we have a safe environment, which includes evaluating the buildings and the working conditions as well. I think that another big one, I know that we had a referral program, but I think that it's really important also to, a big one is pay, of course, and how teachers are being compensated and the incentives. I think that, instead of maybe doing the referral program, another idea could be doing a sign-on bonus. And maybe a sign-on bonus that we pay out over 2 years with 2 or 3 installments. As a nurse practitioner, I know for us to recruit nurses, this is something that we do, and it does work very well. So I think that it would be something that we could try in our Lynn public school systems that could be successful to retain and foster having teachers today. Thank you.
All right, let's give a round of applause for answering that first question. All right, question number 2 discusses funding in the Student Opportunity Act. The Student Opportunity Act will ensure accurate funding for Lynn Public Schools moving forward and has allowed LPS to increase the number of therapists and ESL educators to our ranks. Attracting and retaining the best candidates for our staff is vital to LPS. During the school year 2022-2023, we lost over 100 educators to resignations, retirements, and terminations. And fiscal year 2024, the LPS budget created over 9 new administrative positions. The Lynn Teachers Union is extremely concerned about the sustainability of these positions as we move forward over the next 3 years. If the district has budget issues in the future and needs to have a reduction in force, will you advocate for administrators to be cut or laid off before educators? Candidate Brian, could you please start?
Can you repeat the question for me, please?
Sure, I'll just repeat the highlight part. If the district has budget issues in the future and needs to have a reduction in force, will you advocate for administrators to be cut or laid off before educators?
Educators are very important. Very, very important, just as much as administrators. And the reason I say this is because it takes a whole village to teach these children. So teachers and administrators work hand in hand. I wouldn't want educators being laid off. Administrators, they help. They work hand in hand. As far as these children need as much, they need as much education, a good quality education. And it takes not just the educators alone, they need help. Can't be done alone. These children are special. And the reason I say they're special is because I'm a court officer. I've been a court officer for 28 years. I'm a juvenile court officer. I've been a court officer for 28 years, 23 juvenile court. So I've seen children and I've had the opportunity to talk with them and they've been through some things. And it has affected them mentally. And I would not recommend, I would not support that at all. I am for teachers as well as administrators. Very important. Thank you.
Mr. Castle, just give me 1 second to help out with those signs. Thank you, candidate Castellanos.
Great Mr. Curley once stated. Hello. The great Mr. Curley once stated, teachers, paras, therapists, custodians, clerks, social workers make the district run. Without them, we would not accomplish the purpose of the Student Opportunity Act. It is vital to understand that. It is vital to realize that it is the backbone of this district that you guys allow us to function. With 6 years of fiscal oversight experience, I've been able to work with the budget. The budget reflects your priorities, your reflections, your thoughts. I'm going to be critically monitoring not just those 9 positions, but every position. Because every dollar matters. Every dollar is critical. And how we spend those dollars, those resources, will create the opportunities that we need to achieve student success, to attack retention, and to really focus on the vision that we want to accomplish in this city. Sustainability. We need to remain sustainable. A few years from now, we need to be prepared to handle any type of budget deficit that we do see. So I believe with my experiences as an SEIU Local 509 trustee, I will be receiving additional training in financial budget experience. That's a part of the job that a lot of people don't see. And how to bring priorities to the table is going to require experience. Experience that I've been able to achieve over the last 6 years. An experience that I'm very grateful and humbled for, with the many mentors and the many folks in this room who inspire me to get their priorities into the budget. So, thank you.
Thank you, candidate Castellanos. Candidate Dugan.
Thank you. So, yes, I will advocate for administrators to be laid off prior to teachers. You know, I was obviously one of the 7 that did vote for that budget, and we voted to approve it, so I do own that. And I can't shy away from that. And I know that it upset people, but like I said, I do own that. But absolutely, our teachers are the backbone, as Brian said. The teachers are our backbone of our district. Without our teachers, without qualified teachers, the district does not go. We can have as many administrators as we want, but if they don't have anybody to administrate over, the school district isn't there anymore. So yes, absolutely. I'd strongly advocate for administrators to be laid off prior to teachers. And it also goes back to what I mentioned before with climate. If we start doing things like that, again, we're messing with the climate of our teachers. We're messing with, the overall morale of our district, and that is not something I want to mess with because, as I said before, right now it's not great. We need to improve it, the decisions like that aren't going to help at all, and aren't going to help with teacher retention. So, no, absolutely not would teachers be laid off before administrators.
Thank you, candidate Dugan. Candidate Gately.
I said this before very clearly in other debates. Where would we be without our teachers? I would never, ever vote to lay off a teacher. I would rather lay off an administrator. I don't necessarily want to lay off administrators if they are doing their job, if they are in the classroom supporting the teachers like they are supposed to. But I would never, ever, ever go after a teacher. I am a teacher. You know that I'm a teacher. And I fight for the teachers all the time. And you out there know how hard I have fought for you over the past 2 years. I have been called names. I have been told, never mind, I don't want to go into that, right, Sheila? But I would never do that. But on another issue like the Lynn LPS therapists and the ESL students, we have a pipeline going into education for them. Recruiting students to teacher pipeline and targeting our SEAL literacy would be very important to me. Thank you. teacher.
Thank you, Candidate Gately. Candidate Guzman.
Again, I'm going to agree with Dubin and Ms. Cayley. I would definitely not laid off teachers. I believe that teachers are definitely the backbone of our schools. That is the main problem we have right now. I met great teachers and I am excited to work with them. I believe we're very lucky, we're blessed to have them, and I would definitely support teachers to stay over administrators. The goal is to not have to lay off anyone, so I will aggressively advocate for funding before a legislature, but if that comes to happen, teachers are keeping their job.
Thank you, Candidate Guzman. Candidate Lopez.
Yes, I want to support the teacher. Like they all said already, what we're going to do without teacher? We need them, and we need them working. We don't need them lay off. We need them working, and we need to work for we keeping them with good pay, with good services, and then we all need to work together for this happening, because we have a lot of issue to have the sources of money to complete within in the system, and we need to see that we have many problems around. It's just not the professor, but the main point as you, the professor, because if without you, we don't want to have a student, we don't want to have a system. So for me, I'm going to be a stand up and going to be working very hard. And I promise you that when I be in touch, I'm gonna put it on the table, a plan that is going to be working, not just for the professor, it's for the children. It's going to be very beneficial for both of them. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Lopez. Candidate Magnolia.
Thank you. So I work at North Shore Community College, and I was the union president there for 6 years. And in 2008, how we get funded is a little different than how cities fund their school system, but we had a big recession in 2008, and we were subject to what were called 9C cuts, which means that the legislature just takes money out of our bank account. So layoffs at that time were basically impossible to stop. And I watched a number of our high-touch folks get cut from the college. These were folks who worked at desks. They were folks who worked directly with students. And there was nothing I could do to stop it. And I will never forget that, because the LTU is not just teachers. There are units within this union that are direct contact with students whose jobs are just as essential. And I am now finishing my first term on school committee. If I am re-elected, I will tell you that every single high-touch person's job will be protected. There is no question in my mind that if you interact with a student, you deserve to be there above someone who does not interact with a student on a daily basis. You are the ones who keep them coming back. You are the ones who make that environment what they were. My grandfather was a school janitor my whole elementary school years, and I know how much he meant to those kids in my elementary school. I will also say anyone who's watched me in the school committee meetings has heard me asking administration how many teacher positions are yet unfilled every time something like this comes up. I think it's important to remind them that we know there are vacancies out there that are not yet filled, and I do think that it is the role of the school committee to provide that check and balance to who's being hired and when and why. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Magnolia. Candidate Pena.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If it came down to administrators or educators, the administrators gotta go. As a long-term union member, I've been a union member for a long, long time. Union represents leadership, quality, and it provides better. And let me just say something about educators. Educators, when you choose to go into education, it's not just a profession or a career, it's a calling. Educators really, really are vital. And educators, you have an effect on some children that are life-changing. I till this day, I still have 2 educators that I still talk to on a regular basis, and that's like a 45-year relationship. I think they can hear me. I stand for the teachers union.
We still need that on, Lenny.
Nice try, man. No, I stand with our educators. I'm a union guy. I bleed union. You know, when it comes down, if administrators got to go, they will go. Bottom line.
Thank you, Candidate Pena. Sorry for technical difficulties. Candidate Reed.
So a couple of the candidates said that teachers are the backbone of our community, which I obviously agree with, but it goes further than that. They're the pillars of our community. They're the ones that teach our kids, raise our kids and win out there, everything of that nature. So of course, I'm gonna stand with the teachers in that regard. And just going back to my theme, kind of my first question of being thoughtful in our decision making. I want to know when we hire these new administrators, and I'm not saying they're not justified, we do need strong leadership, but when we do hire these administrators, I want to know specifically what they will do to make the day-to-day life of teachers and paras and support staff easier. Like we said in the first, like you guys asked in the first question, I don't want to talk in generalities. I want specifics. What will you do? What metrics can we take to assure that you will make the teacher's life easier? So, you know, you can't run a grocery store, you can have 1 million managers, but if you don't have people working the floors, then, you know, what do we have? We don't have a store at all. Same thing goes for our schools. So that's a pretty easy one for me. Teachers all the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Reed. Candidate Richard.
Yes, I would be in favor of cutting administrators. I would stand with our teachers. Our teachers are important. They're the ones that are teaching our kids. They're the ones that are in our classrooms, not our administrators. Our teachers are the ones that are influencing our kids when we're not there, and they're the ones that are touching our kids on a day-to-day basis. So absolutely, I would be in favor of that. And I'm a sports guy. I think about it in sports. If you have a bunch of front-end office people and CEOs and managers, and you have players, but you have no coaches to coach them, there's no team. You need the coaches to coach the players. And I believe our teachers are those coaches. They're huge. They're instrumental in our kids' lives. They're the ones that are molding and influencing our kids on a day-to-day basis. Like Candidate Pena said, these teachers touch these kids and they influence these kids for their lives, and there might be relationships built over decades and decades after they're gone out of the school that make a difference, and they can save kids' lives. So absolutely, I would be in favor of cutting administrators over teachers. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Richard. Candidate Sadway.
I 100% would advocate for administrators being cut or laid off. I agree, educators are our primary source, and it's important for us to always be working with our parents and with the parents and with our teachers and making sure that we're getting the input from them. As a mother of 3, I acknowledge and appreciate the fact that I know that educators spend more hours in the day with my children than I get to. You know, by the time they come home from school, they have a little bit of time with me, and then it's dinner time and bedtime. So they spend the majority of our day with the educators. So I would 100% would advocate for the teachers. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Sadway. Let's go around applause for question number 2. All right, our third and final question before closing statements. The teacher shortage, there's a theme tonight. The teacher shortage has exacerbated the overcrowded classrooms in our middle and high schools, including this one right here. We have classrooms with not enough desks/seats for students. This is unacceptable. Taxpayers expect their children to be respected by the school system. Not enough seats in a room should not be allowed. 40 students, including students with disabilities, are crowded into one room with 2 educators. How is this an optimal educational setting? What is your plan to address the overcrowded classrooms in our schools? Candidate Brown, thank you.
My plan would be first to see if there's a shortage on teachers. See if there is, first of all, the schools, the classrooms are overcrowded. See if there's any vacant rooms in the schools that are not being used. Also, the shortage on teachers should be financially, there should be some financial monies, some monies offered, because teachers are priceless. They're overworked and underpaid. They go above and beyond, and they do as much as they possibly can do for the students. So I would try to also advocate for more funding, think outside the box. Maybe we go to the State House and protest and try to get more fundings, because any amount of money is not enough for the teachers nor the students. The students, they're priceless. They deserve a quality education. Thank you.
Thank you, Canada Brown-Bryan. Canada Castellanos.
Just to make it clear, for question number 2, I'll definitely advocate to cut administrators before. Mr. Curley got me fired up. I apologize. I was making sure I want to stay on time. You don't want criticism about that. But for question number 3, it sounds, I don't know who created this question. It sounds like a President O'Neill question. It's a real tough question here. And it comes from the heart, because when I hear and see not enough seats in a room, especially for over 40 plus students with disabilities in one room with 2 educators.
This is a current situation.
This is something for me that just gets me so fueled up, and just, it's traumatizing, and I can imagine what our staff go through. In fact, I talk to staff almost every other night. I speak to staff about these problems. I've been serving on the Building and Grounds Committee for 6 years, and I'm a current member of the Pickering School Building Committee. I believe we need to mobilize and campaign for the current legislation on the table to improve the reimbursement rate by MSBA. Because when I see this, I see the disconnect at the State House. I see the inequities. We need to continue to support the case caps for those staff impacted by these overcrowded issues that we're seeing with our students and staff ratios. We need to make sure that we're critically analyzing what that looks like in the 21st century accountability that we're going to be seeing. Because what DESI's not seeing is what the reality is. The reality of those overcrowded classrooms, when you have kids with IEPs, ESL, they don't see in that. Well, guess what? I see it. And I'm going to advocate with everything I have, every resource I have, every bit of ounce of energy to go towards that. If you know me, I know people in the crowd that's called me, and so you know. I promise that. I promise that.
Thank you, Canada Castellanos. Canada Dugan.
Thank you for that question. This one obviously, it tears at our heartstrings for all of us. We don't want to see this for our students. Not enough desks is completely unacceptable. That's something that I'm going to personally look into tomorrow once we get going after this. Completely unacceptable. But I think the overcrowding in our schools is definitely a complicated issue. It's definitely one that's been plaguing us for some time now. I think one of the things that we need to really work on is getting well-trained paraprofessionals in our building. Not that they're not right now, I believe they are, but we need more of them. We need paraprofessionals that can help kind of take the burden off the teachers, have the teacher teach the whole lesson, work with the paraprofessionals, in small groups to reinforce the lesson. The MTSS system that our administrators are claiming that this is how things are going to move. If it's done properly, I'll be watching to make sure it is. It will create small groups to attack skills. For example, a 3rd grade student is working on consonant blends, and they're having trouble with the BL sound. There'll be a group of children that is able to just concentrate on that. So the MTS system, I think, will help. The multi-tiered system of support for non-teachers, that's what it is. And it's just a different way to look at teaching and more in small groups, attacking specific skills. The other thing is, we got to talk to special ed. Are we in compliance? Are we in compliance right now with this going on? Yeah, so that's a very concerning thing for me. Again, that's something that tomorrow I'm gonna look into because we need to be in compliance, because if DESE comes and sees that we're not, that's a big problem. So our special ed department, you know, is our teachers are great, our administrators, we need to talk to them and see what they're up to there. So that would be my approach on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Dugan. Candidate Gately.
Reading this really is upsetting me, Sheila, so I'm going to tell you right now. My phone number is 781-820-7742. Pick up the phone, call me, let me know the school, let me know where students do not have seats, where there's not enough room. And isn't this, one of my colleagues mentioned, isn't this illegal to have the special needs students without desks and have such large classes? So that's my first thoughts. Just call me. You know, all you elementary school teachers that have been calling me historically over the past 8 years, the secondary, pick up the phone, let me know. I will deal with this. I will figure out a way. Overcrowded schools is an issue. We have been fighting it for years, and we're still working on it. Sheila O'Neill just went to the State House and pleaded our case, along with our superintendent and our mayor, so that we have a fair formula for our schools, so we get new schools, which we deserve, which our students deserve. And nobody, and I mean nobody, should be sitting in a classroom with 40 students, even though the minimum we said was 34, which I didn't really agree with, but that's just me. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Gately. Candidate Guzman.
I think it's shameful that as a city, we are receiving funding for housing, but we're leaving out our schools. We're bringing in families with children, but where are we going to put the children? We are already overcrowded. We have a serious issue in our hands, and it's really sad that we're having these problems where the kids are not having desks, and this is horrible. Another issue that I see with this is the lack of communication. It shouldn't be that we have to be in a situation like this where we find this out, okay? We should be able to have a way to communicate this stuff so that we can take care of it. We're talking about children. Children shouldn't be in this situation, okay? So as a candidate, what I would do is aggressively advocate, like Ms. Gailey said that they went to the State House. I would do that repeatedly, over and over, and until it is actually accomplished. I believe that we must. It is a serious problem. There is also all the ways to acquire funds. I think that we need to take advantage of grants. We need to find ways. I also believe that family engagement, in a way, bringing parents in PTO, donating their time, parents that are willing to donate their time could also help with overcrowding. I think there are so many things that we're not tapping on, and the main issue why we're not doing that is because we're not communicating. The schools that we do have that have great PTO are doing good. They have great engagement. They have great communication. So we do need to promote PTOs. We need to promote that our parents come in, and we need to aggressively advocate for our children. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Guzman. Candidate Lopez.
Well, I want to start saying that we are facing a problem with the immigration already, and we're going to have the school overcrowded all the time because it's going to be a little difficult. All governors are talking about that this week, and then make every day is really tough in the school. I'm be talking with a lot of professors, and I see and I listen they struggling with all children in the classroom. So, in my understand, I believe that our city investing a lot of money in construction of buildings that most of them are vacancy. And then I say, why they focus more to build houses than build school, to support the school, to have a more accessibility for the children at school? Why? And then for the overcrowded, I want to say some remarkable thing. Why could we implement two different sections that we can divide the kids? That way they don't going to face it, those struggling they are facing right now. And then during the week, we can do two sections that I believe that are going to be helping. And then like they already said, I don't want to repeat the information, but I believe that if we include the parents to be involved in the school and give it help, it's going to be the problem set up. Not totally, but in a part, it's going to be helpful, because if you have a parent, go read a book for a group of children while you are teaching the plan that you have for the day. It's going to be very helpful for everyone.
I think it's really important to understand how we got here, and there's been a critical lack of investment in our schools for years and years and years and years and years. And the Student Opportunity Act is allowing us to have money in our schools for the first time that's going to do things, but it is not about building. And one of the really unfortunate things about the fact that it's not about building is that it's really on the city's finances side that we need to be able to tackle this problem. And if you don't understand that, then you'll get mad at us for doing things that we actually have no control over. And the reason I say this is because our advocacy as school committee members needs to be with our brothers and sisters on the city council. That's the first piece. The second piece, what we do have control over, is leased space, which is a short-term solution. What's going on with Frederick Douglass Academy at North Shore Community College is a short-term solution for space issues, specifically with the English population, but we need to be more creative with leased options for students in middle schools. The Discovery Academy was supposed to alleviate some of that with LBTI. It has done a little bit, but it is not a big enough program to affect all of the middle schools. So if what we can do is look at niche programs that could indeed utilize leased space, we would have a short-term solution while we work on the long-term version that is with our sisters and brothers on the city council, which is more buildings, bigger buildings, but that is not going to deal with this 40 people in a classroom and not enough desks. And if we focus on that without thinking about both long-term and short-term solutions, then we are losing the forest through the trees. And I think it's really important to vote for folks who can be strategic about what short-term and long-term solutions might look like. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Magnolia. Candidate Pena.
Yeah, that's, thank you for the question. It gets me upset when I think about there's not enough desks for students, man. And just echoing what Lorraine said, I'm accessible. My number's public. Call me. I'll go personally and grab a desk for a child. That just gets me upset. If elected, I will continue to do what I'm doing now. Is that we got to continue to work hard, back our officials, and try to advocate with the state legislation to get more funding, because we have to build schools. We need to get the funding to build schools. Just a second on what Dr. Magnolia was talking about. That's something that we got to continue to think outside about leasing, and those are short-term solutions. But those are things that we can actually try to do now to try to alleviate some of the situations. But we got to think on the long run. So we got to really advocate with our city councilors, our city council, and our state legislation to try to get more funding so we can have funding, enough funding to build schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Pena. Candidate Reed.
I might need more than 2 minutes for this one. This one gets me fired up. So, in my day job, I work for Senator Brendan Creighton, and one of his key bills is doing what we're talking about right now, and to get reform the MSBA formula, which is incredibly inequitable, which we basically admitted when we did the Student Opportunity Act, which has been referenced. We know this is inequitable on the operational side. How is it not inequitable on the capital side? It is absolutely insane. But I've knocked several thousand doors throughout this city, every neighborhood. And every single, no matter how affluent you are, no matter what language they speak, no matter what the case was, this is the common issue in Lynn that we all have to get behind. Everybody. This is exactly, this is, like I said, the #1 issue that I've heard. So like a couple people mentioned, we can obviously tackle the short term, the band-aids of it. We can you know, reduce ratios by hiring more paras and teachers. We can, you know, put caps in the contracts to get us to act as much as it is to award the hard work that you all do. And, you know, we can implement new strategy, we do all that, but we gotta find the cure, which is getting the MSBA to reform their formula so that we have a real chance at catching up in our schools. Even Pickering, it's already full. We should be building these for projections, not with the current state. Likewise, we're putting money into all these schools, new windows, new roofs, for what? It's just throwing money down the drain when these schools need to be replaced as it is. So I have an organizing background and I have experience lobbying through my work, so I think my experience navigating state policy and agencies will be extremely valuable as we continue to hopefully all come together and keep quantitative data on our, you know, what's going on, as well as qualitative stories, which are sometimes more powerful. Both the stories, the documentations, the pictures of the classroom with all these desks where no one gets to sit. This all plays into it. You know, sadly, it's a game of politics, and we gotta get in the mud and play that game and show how unfair that we've been treated for all these years. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Candid Reed. Candid Richard.
So for me, you know, short-term solution is obviously, you know, trying to build on structures that we have and using programs and expanding on programs like in the North Shore Community College with the Frederick Douglass program. But make no mistake about it, the long-term, the big solution, the solution is new buildings. There are students, there are kids coming into our city every single day, every single month, every single week, and they're going to continue to come. And if we do not have new buildings, it does not matter how many leasing spaces that we have, it doesn't matter how many structures we build off of these buildings, it will never be enough. So we need to continue to advocate to our city council, to our state legislator, but also too, I think what's important is we got to get parents involved too. If there are parents advocating for their kids at the city council level, at the state level, and showing these people what these classrooms look like, there will be change. In reading this is very disheartening to me, and it gets me fired up as well, hearing about kids with disability. I have a 15-year-old son who is autistic, and I can tell you that if a classroom or a student or their IEP is not being met, that is illegal. That cannot happen. That is so wrong. But that is not at the fault of the teachers. That is the fault of the system that needs to be changed and updated. And we need to continue to think about those things. And there's no reason why there should be kids, 40 kids in a classroom. I'm a graduate of Lynn Classical, 2008. I was there when the classrooms were 25, 30 kids. It seems like it hasn't changed. And it seems like it's only gotten worse. So you need people, strong people at this table that can advocate and mobilize people at the city level, at the state level, that can make these changes happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Candid Richard. Candace Edwin.
Thank you. I'm definitely, in agreement with the lowering the ratios. I've had experience with that. I mean, my daughter went to Pickering, and she would tell me that she had 40 kids in her class, and I couldn't believe it when she came home. One of my daughters goes to Lynn English, one of the most overcrowded schools in Lynn right now, unfortunately, and the mods did not cut it. We tried to curve it, and it's still happening as we speak, unfortunately. I think that, for me, as a former Lynn Public School nurse, I tailored IEPs, and I am advocating for special education. So that's important for me, making sure that we have adequate resources for our special education students. That's a big one for me. As far as, we know that we need new schools. Everybody here knows we need new schools. The new annual state budget raised the cap on the grant money that the MSBA can approve. And we need to aggressively be fighting for these funds for projects to be creating more space. Something that's, kind of outside of the box that we could do as a temporary solution in regards to, like they previously mentioned, leasing spaces, is finding a temporary solution that could be maybe leasing like retail spaces or factories or something to convert for a temporary room while we try to build for these new schools that we know that we need. But obviously, this is just a short-term solution to get to the long-term where we know we need to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Candace Attaway. One more hand for our participants. We will now end the night with closing statements. Candace will have 2 minutes per statement. Candace Brown, Brian, would you like to start?
Tyler, I'm used to standing when I speak. As Michael, you know, I'm a court officer and I am used to standing when I speak from being a court officer at work. But my name is Stacey Brown, and I'm running for school committee because every child in this community deserves an opportunity for a quality education. For the past 28 years, I've dedicated my life to the mass trial court as a court officer. 23 of those years, I've worked at Lynn Juvenile Court. Throughout those times, I've seen cases in the system. Many outcomes are unfortunate, perhaps preventable. But the reason I stand for you today is I wanted to get involved with the community that helps to end cycles and create new paths. I would be honored to have a platform where I can listen, learn, and react. It is true I am new to this journey. However, if elected, I will work tirelessly to create new opportunities for Lynn Public School System. I will be pleased to host focus groups, personal interviews with key stakeholders of Lynn Public Schools, including students, faculty, parents, guardians, staff, and administrators. Thank you so much for considering me as a candidate, and I hope to earn your vote, and I vow to be bold and courageous.
Thank you, candidate. Candidate Castellanos.
So once upon a time, July 2008, I was an 11th grader, a little boy, young man who struggled. I had a GPA of 1.78. I had a GPA that didn't reflect who I was. I was a child who was struck with housing insecurity, food insecurities, and significant amounts of childhood trauma. But it was the Lynn Public School teacher who gave me one of the greatest gifts you can ever give another person. They believed in me. Frank Warren once stated, "It's the children the world tries to break who grow up to save it." I owe you. I owe you so much because that year, I would have to get my GPA up to a 2.2, and I got a 2.3 my senior year. And it allowed me to enter into a summer bridge program with Westfield State University. I owe you. This is why. I'm an SEIU Local 509 trustee. I'm a licensed social worker. I hold a bachelor's in criminology with a 3.5 GPA, a master's degree with a 3.7. I'm a homeowner, and most importantly, I'm getting married to the love of my life on 10/21/23. I'm a lucky guy, I'm invested, I'm committed. Your priorities are in my soul, and there's something more than I can't ever thank you all, and the many people who have touched my soul, and it's been the educator and the staff in this city that I continue to to fight for and to advocate for. And one of your 6 votes will go to a candidate who you can trust in. And thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Councilor.
Candidate Dugan.
Well, thank you again. My name's Eric Dugan, number 4 on the ballot. And I'm running because I am a teacher. I'm an educator in Danvers. I teach 3rd grade. So I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk on a daily basis. I was just at my high school reunion, I won't tell you which year. And a lot of people that I saw were, I can't believe Dugan, I can't believe you're a politician. I can't believe you're a politician. And I thought about that, and I'm not a politician. I'm an educator. I'm an educator that lives in Lynn. I'm an educator that cares for the city I love, and I'm an educator that I think brings something to the table and can serve the school committee in a very unique way. So please consider me on November 7th. I'm number 4 on the ballot. Also, another way you can help is please support the Thrive Act, and a couple people have mentioned it, the Acts to Modernize School Construction, to rewrite that MSBA. Get on the phone to your legislators, support that. It's such an important thing, as we've mentioned a few times here for the city of Lynn, in improving the quality of education for our students, because we can't do it alone. We do need the help from the state, so please support those 2 things, and please consider Eric Dugan on November 7th. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Dugan. Candidate Gately.
Thank you very much, Lynn Teacher Union, for holding this forum. I truly appreciate it. Those of you who may not know my background, I taught in Lynn for 33.5 years on the secondary level. I taught middle school and high school science, and I absolutely love my job. I love my job so much that when all of these different changes were occurring, I said, I'm done keeping my mouth shut, and I want to run for the school committee, retire in 2013, run for the school committee, and be your voice. And that's what I have done. I didn't get in on 2013, didn't get into the committee, then I lost by 100 votes, but I am here now. And I want you to know I love representing you and being your voice on the committee. I truly do. It's a lot of work. I will listen to you anytime. I really want to continue my work. I'm the chair of Building and Grounds. I'm working on that new Pickering. I want to continue to work with that formula, new formula that Sheila's pushing in the Thrive Act. You have trusted me with your children for over 33 years in the classroom, and I would appreciate one of your 6 votes on November 7th, number 6 on the ballot. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you, teachers. My name is Walkiria Leguizamon. I am a first-generation immigrant from the Dominican Republic. I'm happily married to my husband, Scott, who's right there. I'm a mother of 3 children, successful businesswoman in our community. I volunteer, I love it. I'm a graduate from Springfield College. I have a bachelor's in science. I'm running for a school committee because I am committed to giving parents a voice. I am a parent, and I know how important that is. Creating a safe school environment for all students, that's a priority. And effective communication between parents, that's essential. Parents, teachers, and the administration. I'm also committed to fighting for better funding for schools and equitable resources for all students. I'm a dedicated leader who will make the difference within our school district. I know that parents are their children's first teachers, and that they should have a say in their children's education. I will work to create a more open and collaborative relationship between parents and the school district. And I will also work to ensure that all students have access to a safe and supportive learning environment. I am a strong leader of public education, and I believe that all children deserve quality education regardless of their background and zip code. I am running for school committee because I want to positively impact the lives of students and families. Please vote for me on November 7th. I am the candidate that will fight hard for parents, teachers, and students. I am a passionate fighter. I believe that I can do this. I love children. I believe in education. As an English learner, I fought to be here. I came to America when I was 16. I did not know any English at all. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate. Hannah Lopez.
Well, this is my third time that I'm running for a school committee. And then since I arrived here in 1999, I've been working for the community very hard in different organizations and in a different path. So I have couple of years studying psychology, and I'm gonna be graduated by next year with the Lord first. And then my purpose is to work for the community, continue working for the community, represent the parents and represent the kid and represent the teacher at the school. So I be a little like uncomfort because all those years I've been working very hard for this community, and this community didn't look at it. This community don't show up, don't support, don't come and out to vote. And then at this time, I don't want to say a lot of things about me, but I want to encourage everybody to come out to vote. It's a lot of choice to choose, but I deeply said, take time and think about all the efforts that I've been doing since these 3 times that I've been running for a school committee and representing you at school. And then please vote for me on November 7th and look my background and you will see who I am, how I've been working for this city, and how deeply I ask for your vote. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Candidate Lopez. Candidate Magnolia.
I'm finishing my first term on the school committee. I'm asking for one of your 6 votes on November 7th. I'm number 11 on the ballot. But the reason that I am asking you to send me back, there are a couple of reasons. First, I do have a kid in the Lynn Public Schools, so there are some folks here that were from her elementary school and saw just how involved I was back then, and I continue to be that involved now that she's in middle school. I see what happens day to day, and I think the folks that have experienced me directly as a parent know that I'm nothing but supportive of what my kid experiences in the classroom. And I will continue to be that kind of person on the school committee. I've also been a professor at North Shore Community College for 19 years. I am Dr. Tiffany Magnolia. I hold a doctorate in English from Tufts University. When I was an undergraduate, I tried to be a high school teacher. They wouldn't have me. I'm very sorry to admit that defeat here, but that's okay. I went back to graduate school and now I teach community college, which is a much better fit anyways. On the school committee, I think those of you who have had the opportunity to watch any of them can see that what I bring is a lot of knowledge and experience about education, educational policy. I'm often one of the people who asks questions that kind of get to the meat of the matter. I've been serving on the policy and personnel committees and chairing the curriculum committee. I take these jobs really seriously. I do a lot of homework. I'm also the only out LGBTQIA candidate up here, and I will continue to advocate for our most vulnerable students and policies that impact them disproportionately, but also policies that help them survive and thrive in our Lynn Public Schools. I think what you'll see with me as a candidate is that I speak with integrity, with knowledge, and with a deep ethical commitment to taking this role really seriously. I have been an advocate for public education my whole life and a union member just as long. Thank you.
Hannah. Hannah Pena.
Well, my name is Lenny Pena. I'm a lifelong Lynner. I attended Lynn Public Schools. I have 3 children, 3 older children that attended Lynn Public Schools. One of them graduated. And I have 3 children. My wife and I have 3 children who currently attend Lynn Public Schools. I believe in the Lynn Public School system. You know, I work with children in the community. I'm a big advocate for our children. I coach youth sports. I'm involved with different stuff in the community. And I've been through a lot of, I had to jump many hurdles and through many obstacles to be where I'm at. I'm passionate, I'm a fighter, I'm a strong union guy, I'm a leader. And if you vote for me, I promise to continue to fight for our educators. I'm honored to say I was part of the negotiation committee that produced a very fair contract for our educators. And if you elect me If you re-elect me, I'll come back and I'll continue to fight even harder. You know, I ask you on November 7th, number 1 on the ballot, number 1, vote for Lynn Pena. Thank you.
Thank you again, LTU. Thank you for everyone for coming. I know it's the evening and there's other things to do, but it means a lot. We need more of this engagement. But my name's Sean Reed, and I'm running for Lynn School Committee to bring a new generation of leadership to our schools. Education, I first decided to run because education is deeply personal to me. It's personal to me as someone who went through Lynn Public Schools my entire life. I wasn't always the best student in or out of the classroom. Looking at Miss Mack, she can attest to that. But my teachers never gave up on me, and that's the reason why I am where I am today. And I want every student to have that same opportunity, regardless of their circumstance, regardless of their situation. Education is also personal to me as the husband of a Lynn Public Schools special education teacher, coach, and union building representative at Hood Elementary School. And education finally is personal to me as someone who wants to raise his family right here in this city and believes in public education. But I know passion isn't always enough. I also have the experience to do the job. As I previously mentioned, I work for Senator Brendan Creighton in my day job, where I get to work on some of the most pressing issues facing education and other areas. I'm also involved in a bunch of organizations with youth initiatives. I'm on the YMCA board. I'm involved in the Shannon Grant Initiative, which looks to curb youth violence. And I co-founded a nonprofit in Lynn Kayak and Sail Lynn. And then finally, I have the experience, because I have an organizing background. I was actually a field organizer on the 2 New Schools for Lynn campaign, which is, you know, I wish a lot of us here probably wish that passed. And so I think, like we talked about earlier, that we need organizing, both within the community and building coalitions and different things of that nature. So all that experience kind of, you know, hopefully will be a valuable asset to the school committee. I just want to say one more thing to get back to the question we talked about earlier. I want to take action on the school building. It is our #1 issue. We have to come up with a plan and actually advocate. It's enough talking. We have to get these new school buildings, and we have to do it soon. Thank you.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out today. This is bringing back memories. I went to this school back in 2001. I remember sitting in those chairs and sitting up on the stage. I'm a Lynn Classical grad, 2008. My father was a Lynn Classical grad back in the 60s. My brother's a classical grad. I have Lynn English grads in my family as well. So I have a long, deep history in this city. I live in the city. I'm married. I have 4 kids, 2 in Hood, 1 in Marshall, 1 in English. As I said earlier, I have a special needs child as well. My son, who went through the Lynn Public Schools as well. So I have a very diverse background when it comes to child education, being a student and being a parent as well, and also being a parent of a special needs child, which is very near and dear to my heart. I'm very passionate about that issue. I'm very passionate about that community because I see how underserved they are, and that's a big part of why I'm running. Also financial literacy, working and being a businessman in the city, working in financial services, that's another big reason why I'm wanting to see financial literacy come to Lynn Public Schools. I know that there's a program being fleshed out right now to be brought in. And also ESL. My wife and her 4 kids, they're all ESL students. They moved here 2 years ago from the Dominican Republic, speaking no English. And they came to the school, and the Lynn Teachers Union and the public schools have done an excellent job working with those kids, teaching them English and getting them acquainted with the school. So thank you. I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart because you made a difference in my children's lives. But I want to continue that fight. I want to continue to fight, and I want to say, if you want somebody that's going to advocate and not take no for an answer and fight for our teachers, fight for our kids, I'm your candidate. I'm number 5 on the ballot, and I want to say thank you for all that you do, the educators that we have here, because you have made a difference far more than I think you guys know in children's lives, all through many generations. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for coming out. I appreciate the opportunity of being here tonight. My name is Andrea Satterwhite. Again, I'm a lifelong Lynn resident. I as well attended all of Lynn Public School, Ingalls, Marshalls, and Tech as well. I graduated from Tech and went on to be a nurse practitioner. I am currently a mother of 3 children. 2 are in the Lynn Public School system currently, and one will be entering next year, so I'm actively involved in my kids' lives inside of the Lynn Public School System. I'm also a former Lynn Public School nurse, so I do have experience with the special education and IEPs. As I mentioned earlier, I helped tailor those as well. My main focuses are on safety, student achievement, educational training, community partnerships, and then once again, special education. I think that it's very important to allow our students to be able to reach their highest level of academic achievement, and for us to enable them to expand and reach their full potential. So I'm running for Lynn School Committee because of my children. My family has been actively involved in the Lynn community. My husband's Michael Satellite. He also actually had a seat here on the school committee as well. And I want to continue to do a good job inside the Lynn public school systems and make a difference as well. Thank you.
Let's have another round of applause for our candidates for doing a great job tonight. In addition, I'd like to say thank you to our partners here, MEJA, the North Shore Labor Council, New Lynn Coalition, Neighbor to Neighbor, and our LTU members. LTU, we will have our membership meeting October 18th, where we will discuss our forum tonight and make motions to endorse. We can endorse up to 6 candidates. Everyone else, you have homework on November 7th. Please get out and vote, not only for school committee, but also for our city councilors as well. Thank you for coming and have a great night.